See your local GMC dealer. Our first alert commitment to you is the power of 5 meteorologists, all the tools, the latest technology, and the first team of 5 meteorologists. News 12, NBC 26 First Alert Weather on your side. It's October at our Trust Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your first alert. You're watching News 12 live at 5. Continues.
We've got several local softball teams duking it out as we speak in Columbus, Georgia for the GHSA Softball State Elite Eight. Just ahead, we'll have the latest on how they're performing.
But first, data shows domestic violence and abuse is on the rise, including right here in Georgia. And over the last 10 years, there's been a 42% increase in fatalities from domestic violence.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we're sharing survivor stories so others recognize red flags and where they can find help. Our Taylor Martin spoke to a shelter in Augusta who says they're seeing more people in need of help.
I woke up with his hands like around my neck. Yes, that's how I woke up, and I was so terrified.
It was the moment Lacey Ado's life changed.
That experience was so traumatic. My parents didn't know that I was going through it. Of course, I was ashamed.
It's a familiar story for multiple victims in Georgia. In 2022, there were nearly 130,000 crisis calls to Georgia's certified family violence and sexual assault agencies. And at Safe Homes of Augusta, they've already served more than 200 clients this year in their shelter.
We're definitely seeing more people having a need for safe shelter.
One of the most crucial steps in healing,
I went to therapy twice a week because that's how bad I was mentally,
is what happens after a victim's 30 days in the shelter as they get back on their feet. It's why Safe Homes works with victims for up to a year after they leave.
We can help with things like rent, utilities, transportation. Without that additional support, their likelihood of being re-victimized is significantly higher.
Now Lacey is hosting her own community event to help women heal and raise more awareness.
Like, how do we move forward now? It's happened, it's done, or I'm experiencing it. So what does moving forward look like?
Now remember, if you need help, you are not alone. If you need resources, there's an event happening tonight in Richmond County. There's help 24 hours a day. If you need to speak with someone, you can call the Safe Homes hotline at 706-736-2499. We will put that number for you on our website. A domestic violence awareness fair goes from 6 to 8 tonight at the Augusta Commons. It's being held by the Richmond County Solicitor General's Victim Witness Program. There will be music, games, and of course, resources to share.
And we're continuing to follow breaking news out of Maine, where authorities are still hunting for the suspect of a mass shooting that killed at least 18 people. This all happening Wednesday night at a bowling alley and a nearby restaurant in Lewiston. Now, the suspect is believed to be a trained firearms instructor here on your screen. Right now, entire neighborhoods are on lockdown as authorities continue their search. Of course, we'll bring you the latest information on air and online at WRDW.com and our WRDW app.
Well, temperatures are back above average this afternoon. We've actually had several for you in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks, Riley. Justin Gilstrap was just 11 years old when he was attacked by several dogs while riding his bike this past January. His injuries were so severe he had to undergo multiple surgeries, and while he will live with those scars for the rest of his life. Today, the owner of those dogs, Bert Baker, appeared in court for sentencing. No cameras were allowed in court today, but I was there. Ultimately, Baker pled guilty to reckless conduct, which is a misdemeanor charge. The court stated that the district attorney's office had no sentencing recommendations for Baker today. This is what they call a blind plea, meaning that Baker was at the mercy of the court. The judge handed him 12 months probation. He was given special conditions for his probation. Those include no dog ownership, no contact with the victim or the family. Baker has to pay $400 a month to the victim's family. That comes out to about $4,800 over 12 months and 40 hours of community service. Meanwhile, the family's medical bills have topped $1 million so far, according to the court. Justin's mother, Erica Stevens, releasing a statement to us today on this decision, saying, quote, "As a mom, I feel like justice has not been served. Justin still has so many surgeries and procedures to go." She goes on to say that the family is going to focus on the upcoming civil trial to make sure that Justin gets justice.
The GHSA Softball State Elite 8 is raging on in Columbus, and 4 of our 5 local teams are facing elimination.
News 12 Sports Director Dan Booth was in Columbus yesterday. He's live with us here in the studio tonight to continue our state softball coverage. Dan.
Meredith and Will, day one in Columbus was an emotional roller coaster from start to finish. And if that's any indication of what day two could be like, we're really in for something special. All 5 of our local teams are back in action, including Washington Wilkes, who's in the winner's bracket after a big win yesterday. After trading places with me today, News 12's Alyssa Lyons joins us live from Columbus. Alyssa, how'd the Lady Tigers do in their game this afternoon against GMC?
Hey, Dan, maybe we should have got GPS trackers on our cars. That way we could have just waved to each other down I-20 today, but thankfully that didn't happen. You know, all eyes on the road. Better way to use the words of a parent today during that Washington Wilkes game. They said it was a dogfight, and that's exactly what it was all the way into extra innings. Both teams could not find a way to pass third. That was if they even got to third in the first place, which only happened twice for Washington Wilkes until the 6th inning. That's when Molly Dawson broke 0 and brought in 2. GMC found a way to tie it up in the bottom in almost the same fashion, and we have a new ball game. Both went scoreless the next set and forced 8. Cameron Rogers, no better spot to be right along the side of the baseline. It just gets by to create enough room to double their luck. They find a way to hold on tight. No tricks today, 4-2. The Lady Tigers are moving on.
My heart was somewhere out there, but hey, I knew it. I mean, I'm tough and I look like I'm not in it, but hey, I knew it. I felt it all along. I knew we were going to come out with a win. I trust them. I love them. You can't make it here without being a great team. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, but we knew overall we was a better team. We had a better defense. If we chipped away with some runs, we knew we would come out with a win.
Now they'll play tomorrow at 3 p.m. But in the meantime, we do have a couple of games going on here. Harlem is now 2 up in the 3rd inning. Then we have Glasscock County, who's leading by 1 against Bowdoin. And then Telfair leads Emmanuel County by 2. So lots of games going on, Dan. Lots of more updates coming for you at 6 o'clock.
You know, congrats to Washington Wilkes on making it to the state semifinals. Thank you, Alyssa. And as you mentioned, we're far from done tonight because Harlem, Glasscock County, and Emmanuel County are all facing elimination, and they're in action as we speak. Grovetown has their backs up against the wall as well, and their game begins at 7 o'clock. We'll have the latest updates on all of these matchups throughout the night.
All right, thanks, Dan. Looking forward to it. Augusta is scheduled for November 11th, and our Craig Allison will have more on today's meeting at 6 and 11.
That is North Augusta's high school marching band, the Green Jacket Regiment, as they prepare for a trip to the state competition this weekend. Other schools will have competing from the area include Williston, Elko, Barnwell, Batesburg, Leesville, Ridge Spring, Monetta, 96, Aiken High School, and North Middle School and High School. Those band members put in a lot of time, especially in football season, and we wish them the best this weekend.
Absolutely.
Sounding good out there.
Yeah, they are. Better than I would sound out there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sound very good at all.
I'm not musical at all. All right, if you've ever purchased feminine hygiene products, you've paid something called the pink tax. Just ahead, there's a way for you to get some of that money back in your wallet. Riley?
Well, warm temperatures continue all the way through the weekend, but we are going to see big changes next week. We'll have the full forecast just after the break. European model a little bit slower and keeps our temps in the 70s. Either way, folks, looks great for trick-or-treaters. Luckily, that front's not going to bring us much rain. Once we get into Wednesday, Thursday next week, you can see the much colder air does arrive. Could see the 30s again by next Thursday.
Thank you, Riley. Women forced to pay more money than men for similar products. Tonight, one program is turning the tables on the so-called pink tax.
State House reporter Abby Kasora shows us how women are getting some of that money back.
Tampons, pads, and other feminine hygiene products considered a necessity by the Food and Drug Administration. Yet Georgia is one of 21 states that still tax period products, calling them non-essential goods.
It kind of feels like, you know, they're taking more out of us.
Tristan Barrett says she hasn't noticed a 4% tax before, a few pennies now, but hundreds of dollars during her lifetime.
To just unknowingly be cheated out of money for no reason, all because, you know, I bleed once a month.
The Tampon Tax Back Coalition, made up of 7 companies like Diva, Lola, and Atlanta-based Honey Pot, are offering their customers a way to get their money back. If you live in a state with a tax on their products, keep your receipt. Send them a text, then a copy of your receipt. They'll reimburse the taxes you paid, essentially covering the cost. Barrett says that more brands should join them.
And that's one of the best things that women can actually probably have right now.
The taxes still go to the state. Georgia collects $6 to $9 million on the tax every year,
which is, by the way, less than 0.01% of the state budget.
State Senator Nabila Islam Parks is hoping the state will get rid of the tax altogether. Last year, she presented a bill to remove the period product tax. She says she has both Democrat and Republican supporters.
It shouldn't be up to corporations to provide that relief when the state of Georgia has the power to do it themselves.
The Tampon Tax Back website says that you'll receive your refund within 2 days of submitting your receipt. The women I spoke with today say that they're excited to know that this program is out there. In Duluth, I'm Abby Kasoris.
Well, is there anything parents can do to keep their kids from being addicted to social media? I'm Jamie Tucker. Coming up, a few tools at parents' disposal and one thing kids do to get around them.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
We are excited to announce that the Medicare Specialist is now the 64 Insurance Group. And while we've expanded our portfolio to include other health insurance products, we are still your go-to for all things Medicare. Don't wait until you're 65 to call. AreYou64.com.
News. Catch the Grinch live for the holidays.
Hey, Jill, what's the matter?
Man, this name change is stressing me out.
Everyone will know we still specialize in Medicare.
Yeah, I know that. What about this?
AreYou64.com.
41 states, including South Carolina, have filed lawsuits against Meta, the company behind Instagram and Facebook. Their claim is those platforms use tactics intended to get kids addicted to using them.
Our consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker has some tools for parents to help you monitor how long your child spends scrolling.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
Now, the fact is, even if parents use some of the tools to monitor what their kids are doing on their phones, kids seem to always find ways to get around it. But these tools can help. Instagram has features that allow their parents to monitor how much time they spend on the app if they've allowed parents to monitor their account. Now, to see how this works, I opened an Instagram account, entering a birth date indicating I was 17. Within 2 minutes of opening that account, I received multiple follower requests and 2 pornographic videos. The supervision feature did not alert me on my personal Instagram account of photos or messages. But parents can choose time limits and scheduled breaks. When the time limit is up, the kids can ask their parent for more time. Monitoring with smartphone features is a better choice. Android devices have Family Link that gives parents the ability to lock down a device at certain times, but that's only good until the child turns 13 when restrictions are lifted automatically. The child also has to have their own Google account. Apple's Screen Time allows parents to create time limits for specific apps or games on their child's iPhone, but that does not block them from using the websites of apps if they go into incognito mode. Parents will be able to see what they're visiting online even if they check. To block that, parents need to go into restrict content on the child's device and choose limit adult websites. That will prevent them from using incognito mode in the Safari browser. But many kids do find ways to get around these restrictions. How? By watching TikTok videos of other kids showing how they did it. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
In the lawsuit, states are asking the court to force Meta to stop using features that research has shown to pose a risk to young children. Riley?
Well, we are looking at temperatures to stay in the 80s over the next several afternoons and actually mid-80s by the weekend. Now look at that 7-day for you just after a quick break.
When you've been hurt in an accident.
Lawyers at all nines.
As you might already know, every morning we play the national anthem here on News 12.
Well, a viewer sent us a video explaining that every morning his 14-week-old American Cocker Spaniel named Archie sings along. Take a look at this. That's a patriotic pup right there.
Right?
Tommy Rollins in North Augusta says he watches our show faithfully every morning, and Archie just can't help but sing along and be a true patriot there. He says this happens no matter what Archie is doing. When that anthem comes on, he's in front of the TV and he's howling.
I
And
love
it.
this.
I love it.
And you know what? Archie even hit some of those notes, I think.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty good.
That
we
is
appreciate them watching too.
absolutely, and that's why we play the anthem so Archie can get his vocals warmed up for the
Okay.
morning, and that is just fantastic. Thank you all for sitting in that
At
video.
14 too, he's still got to
Wow.
go.
No,
I
14
missed that
weeks.
part. 14 weeks. Was
Yeah,
it 14
so
weeks?
I mean,
missed that.
he's a puppy, so I mean,
Yeah.
he's
14-week-old. Yeah. So
Yeah.
He's got some pep in his step.
comprehension's hard sometimes.
sorry. We forgive you, William.
We forgive you, Will. Hey, beautiful weather out there this afternoon. If you're heading out this evening, we are going to hang on to dry weather and fairly warm temperatures. We're actually going to see the 70s and 60s most of this evening, so not going to be excessively cold. No need for the winter jacket if you're heading out tonight. And you can see our temperatures should stay in the 70s the next hour or so, and then once that sun goes away, we should drop through the 60s through at least around midnight. Now, if you do have a tea time tomorrow, looking good early in the morning, maybe some patchy fog on the course, so a heads up for that, but we are looking at a very comfortable afternoon with highs back near 80 degrees, and we should see generally sunny skies, a few passing clouds at times, but no major weather complaints out there, and fairly calm conditions, so great lake weather if you're heading up there Friday or Saturday. Winds are going to be light and variable over the next couple of days, and high temps will still be close to 80 there up at Clarks Hill. Here's a full look at that 7-day forecast. So once again, hanging on to warm temps in the 80s through Monday, but by Halloween, the cooler air does show up.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
This is not you.